We are going to have some fun today, something different. We're going to do some stamping, and I thought you guys might have a good time with that. So it looks like we got a pretty good turnout here. Let's look back up to the top. I see. Oh, we got a good turnout this morning. We got Annette and Irene. Sorry you're dealing with a kidney stone, Irene. We got Thelma and Mary R. And I saw Kim Greenwood in here. There's Glenn. Hi, Glenn. And I think that's it for right now. But I'm sure we'll have more people joining us here shortly. This is one of those days when I'm not going to have much desk to use because I've got my die cutter on my desk. Hi, Mary T. Good to see you, my friend. Okay, let's take a look at what we're going to do today. Go ahead and drop the camera, honey. We are going to do the Countryside Autumn Scapes. We have an unbelievably great deal on this in our store. The stamp set from Heartfelt Creations was $19.99. The die set from Heartfelt Creations was $29.99. You get both for $19.99. So it's about a 60+% savings on the entire bundle. So that's a good one. Basically $50 worth of stuff for $20. So fun, fun, fun. Let's see what we're going to do with it. Let's see. I'm going to start out today just doing a little bit of stamping on my stamp platform. And I've already set up my stamps. I know I want to use all of them. Move this out of the way so I have room to stamp. And I'm going to use my Pink Fresh black ink pad. This is a hybrid ink pad. It can be used either with alcohol inks or with water-based inks because it's not either one. I did try and use the stamp refresher on this. Not a chance. Didn't work at all. So I've never seen a refill for one of these hybrids. You just kind of have to replace the pad over time, I think. But I use it so much. Oops. Look at that. We've been at this less than 5 minutes and I already have ink on my paper. Oh, well, that's life, I guess.
Push those papers and cut her back a little more.
Yes. Hopefully they won't end up on the floor over there.
Probably won't.
The glasses were all foggy, couldn't see a thing, so I had to use my microcloth to wipe my glasses. Alrighty. Oh my gosh, I can see. It's like a miracle. Okay. I'll bring my stamp platform over. Stamp, stamp, stamp. Fortunately, where I smudged it there is out of the path of what we're using. Except I have to do it again because I didn't get the back feet on my wagon. That's why I love my stamp platform. Never wasting your paper. I should have taken this out, actually. It would have been easier. So when you're using thick stamps, you don't need that. But we just move this out of the way. It's already made plenty of prints. I just had to show the process. And you guys know me. You know me. And you know that given the choice, I'm probably going to go for my pearlescent watercolors. I could use alcohol markers. I could use some colored pencils. I could use crayons. I could use those water soluble crayons from Stampin' Up! And others. Or I could use my watercolor brushes and my pearlescent paints. Guess what one? Because I do so love them. So I have my white set. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to get any of these, and we were almost out. So I actually have purchased in another kind of pearlescent watercolors too, only to find that these did come back in. And so we bought those too because I know they're great. And so these are in and available again if you want them. They're wonderful, wonderful watercolor medium. I love them. It's a nice, heavier bodied watercolor. I'm not sure if that's because of pearlescence or what, but they really go down nice. I am going to have to replace my green soon. I love this mossy green. It's my favorite. Can you tell? The mossy green and the pink are two of my favorites. I love my watercolor brush with these. Because I'm using my water brush, I only have to squeeze the brush just a little bit to get water on my palette. Which is very, very nice. Now, there's a couple different ways I could do this. I can color them all while I have them all together, which is what I usually end up doing. But I could just as easily cut these out first and then watercolor them, which would mean that I could it would be easier in that I'm not going to go over the edges. I agree with you, Thelma. These are great watercolors. I really, really enjoy them. And they're easy to use. You pick up great color. And they're just so pretty. And in a minute, I'll hold it up and you can see the sparkly. Because I'm a girl that needs sparkles. Okay, let's see what else I want to put some green on here. I got some pumpkin stems. We have some of these watercolor water brushes in the store too that are just really nice. I like the 3-pack. I'm not as fond of the wide ones, although I'm sure they have applications that they're great for. Just for my style of watercolors, I like the thinner heads on them. But I'm glad you checked on them, Mary R. I was thinking about you. I knew North Carolina was getting it, and I was hoping you were doing okay through that. The color doesn't show on the camera. Not getting much color, huh? Okay. Let me use a different color, and maybe we can pick up more of it. And maybe I just need more paint on the brush to pick it up. So let me just dip a little more paint too. And I got lots of water. Use this dark one here. Alice's birthday today. Jordan is here for her birthday. She turned 29 yesterday. I was talking to one of my old friends that I used to work with at the bank and asked her if she thought it could be 29 years since she saw me get up in front of a bank-wide meeting and try to talk when I was 9 months pregnant with Jordan and her feet were in my lungs. I was up there getting about a word and a half out at a time and a breath of air. After a while, I could see the entire audience working with me, trying to get me through my presentation. Rita said, "Yep, I remember it like it was yesterday." A little bit of green in our leaves up here. We got to have lots of color in our leaves because that's kind of the nature of the day, isn't it? Got to have green in our leaves and some fall colors. And we got some leaves in our cart. Got some corn in my cart. I'm assuming that's corn. Looks like corn to me. Okay. I think I got what I want out of the green. Another beauty of the water brush, you can just run some water down through it and your brush is clean. I'm going to get some yellow for my sunflowers here. Get some bright yellow in our sunflowers. And that's a good idea to just color part of the card, Thelma. My crooked neck squash there. Grew up eating crooked neck squash. It was one of my dad's favorites. Slice them and fry them up. Cornmeal. He may have lived out here a long time, but North Carolina never left him in his eating habits. Okay. I think I got all my yellow. And pick up some orange. What's a crooked neck squash? One of those. It's a squash that's yellow. And you pick them when they're fairly small. I fried them. Sliced them and fried them. And he said that was one of his, what do I mean, a yellow squash? Crooked neck squash. Yeah, I'm not the only one who knows about crooked neck squash, surely. We got a lot of southerners here. We always had those growing in the garden because that was one of his favorites. If it was a squash, he loved it. Hubbard squash and acorn squash and crooked neck squash. And I'm going to get some kind of coppery color, deepen the color of my pumpkin. Just put some little stripes in it to give me a richer color. That looks good. And I'm going to get me some, I have this kind of bronze color, reddish brown, and I'm going to do the inside of my sunflowers with that. I'm actually going to bring a lot of that down onto my petals because it looks pretty. Oh, we never peeled our squash. That is true. We never ever peeled them. I can't help but think anytime I think of Hubbard squash and some of the bigger ones, my grandma, in the last few years that she was living, every year she got an award from the food bank for the amount of food out of her garden that she donated. She had some Hubbard squashes that were over 100 pounds. Those are the ones you have to cut with an axe, big, heavy things, but the squash is delicious. And she got an award every year for donating over 1,000 pounds of food out of her garden, mostly because of those huge squash. But she had a gigantic garden for an older lady. And she did love taking care of her neighbors. One of her favorite things. Okay, so I've got my oops, go back and get my pumpkin on the cart. I actually have two little pumpkins on my cart. One there, one there. And we have some sunflowers in the cart. We'll color some blossoms there. Let's get some of that reddish color and put into our leaves. And some green and some yellow, some gold and some red. Okay, I'll do my wagon here. It's the right time of year for eating foods from the garden, isn't it? Oh boy, I just love, love, love homegrown tomatoes. There's just no difference between what you buy at the store and homegrown ones. Try and get a little wood grain to this, take Thelma's advice and not color every little spot of my wagon so that we can get some of that wood, kind of wood tone showing through. Wooden wheels on my wagon. Hi, Adeline. All right. Looks like we got a couple little apples in the cart there. And some red. My little apples. Or at least a hint of red to it. And I see I missed a green. Grab that leaf, the bottom of my sunflower there. Okay. And need some kind of gold on this little sunflower blossom here. Just get a little color in there. Needs to be deeper than that though. Okay. Voila. Watercolors. Now let's get our dyes out. Ooh, that sounds good, Thelma. Fried apples mixed with fried onions. I'll bet that's delicious. Depending on the style of the onions are so sweet that could be great. Getting into the package is always half the job of these new dye sets. Okay, got my cutting dies. I've got my magnetic plate here. I'm going to, I know that there's a direction I can put this on that it is. That it's exactly right, but you have to kind of fiddle with it a little bit sometimes to figure out what that is, what that direction is. That's looking good there, but that's not quite right. Got to be smarter than it is, guys. So far, I'm having a challenge with that. Oh, this is looking promising. There we go. Okay, I'm liking that. Got it. And I got my wheelbarrow. Jake's family lives in South Carolina, and Jordan was talking with his mom last night. She said they really, really took it hard from the storm, way harder than they normally would. And lots and lots and lots of flooding around. Their house is fine, but they have some of their neighbors staying with them because their house is not fine. Once we cut these out, you guys will remember that I want to go in with my brush and touch these up a little bit anywhere I have white showing, because that's just what I like to do when I've watercolored. I tell you, this magnetic plate is just the cat's meow when it comes to die cutting. If you don't have one of these, I totally recommend it. Okay. Move the machine over a little bit. Honey, you need to be here handling the camera, please. He's taken off. That was not one of my smarter moves. try that again. I had one that I slid off, and I thought, well, maybe I should just go ahead and cut that off and make that. You need to pay attention to the camera view on what I'm doing here when I'm moving all over the place, please. And I'm putting them all down again because I messed it up after I put them down. Because I moved it. One I most don't want to have to adjust is this one, and I think I've messed it up. Maybe not. Maybe not too bad. Kind of hard to find center on that one. All right, let's try this again. Try it without moving. Back that up a little bit there, please. First sunflower, second sunflower. Pumpkin. Yeah, I got a little white showing around some of these, so I'll just paint them. Yeah, I've always wanted a house at the beach, but with climate change and the rising tides, I don't think I'm interested in doing that anymore. Sounds like a good way to lose your money. Okay, I did a couple others of these already, so go ahead and cut these so we have things to work with. I hope they're all stacked the same way. I should check that before I started cutting. Okay, try it again. Wow, do you see that, guys? You can be impressed with me. It's okay. I just set that right on top of there like I knew what I was doing. Did you see it? Did you see it?
I missed it.
So, I will still be here Wednesday for What's New Wednesday. And I think I will anyway. A couple tests I have to do at the hospital, so it's possible they could schedule them in my normal time. If so, hopefully Margie can do it. But Margie, I believe, will be here next Saturday to do our Saturday show. And then I'm not sure yet how long I'll be off. Just depends on how I feel afterwards. I trip up and show you my awesomeness. You're so funny, Annette. I love you. I didn't know for sure how many of different things I'd want, so I colored plenty in advance. I colored 3 sheets last night while I was in my crafty friends group. Yeah, so I'm sure Margie will plan to handle What's New Wednesday for whatever period of time that is. And Margie will be here, like I said, next week. I saw a schedule. She and I have been trying to get together all week to compare schedules and figure out for sure how we're going to cover everything. And we missed it yesterday. Missed our time yesterday. So she's coming in after class today, so we can firm that up.
Tomorrow?
Today, after class. She's going to be in town anyway, so that she'd stop by, so we can work on the calendar a little bit. Next Friday morning, I have to check in at 5:30 in the morning, and they're not sending me to my local hospital. It's one across Portland. And they tell me I have to be up to be showered on Friday morning. I wonder if it's even worth going to bed. I don't know why they scheduled me at a hospital across Portland, but they did. Probably where they had room on the schedule. What did we ever do before die cutters? Oh yeah, we fussy cut all this. I don't remember that being a particularly good time. I actually don't mind fussy cutting, but if you have to fussy cut everything, you don't do a lot of stamping of things that have to be cut out. Okay, one left. That's a good question. I think they're just going to keep me overnight, Mary.
I thought they reserved a room for 3 days.
Well, according to the internet, you're in the hospital 3 or 4 days, but I think that is changing as procedures change and one thing and another. I asked the admitting person the other day when I was talking to him on the phone how long I'd be there, and he said he sees they have reserved a room for me, so I'll be there overnight for sure. But other than that, we don't know. Thank you. Okay, last one. And we'll start laying out some cards. Yeah. Both of our babies were C-section babies, so I had to stay. I don't remember. Just one night, Bryce? Couple nights? I don't remember.
3 nights.
3 nights? Hmm.
And I think it's 3 nights each.
Especially that Jordan was a contrary kid before she ever got here. She was so late arriving and so resistant to coming along when her time came. And I had expressed to my doctor I didn't want to start a new relationship with my baby having had surgery, so I wanted to keep trying to do it the regular way. And she finally came in at the end of the 5th day that they induced labor and said, "This is now a medical decision. Do you want to have her tomorrow or Monday?" Because she just was not going to come along on her own. It was not going to happen. Excuse me, well, I have to take a minute and put my dies away. If I don't do this, I lose them, and then I get really angry with myself because I lost them. So, as opposed to getting angry with myself, I will put them away. Well, Jordan was a big girl when she got here, a full head of hair. I actually had to have her hair cut when she was 5 months old. And it was so long already that we could kind of sweep it back into kind of, I don't know, the word I want is that I want to say, I'm not sure it's the right word, is pompadour sort of thing, where you swing, you comb the hair backwards and have that little curl in the front. We had to start doing that almost immediately. And one time a person stopped us and asked why we had a wig on that baby. I said, try it. It doesn't go anywhere. How big was she? She was 9'3" when she got here. The lady actually thought we had a wig on the baby. You remember that, Bryce? That was funny. We both laughed. Yeah, it's going to be a robot hysterectomy as well as they're going in 2 different ways, I guess. The risk of too much information, Mary. Oh my gosh, Jackie was huge. 10 pounds, 4 ounces. That's big baby. You can't even use their baby clothes that way. You get your newborn clothes and they come out wearing 3-month clothes, and then 2 weeks they're wearing 6-month clothes. I remember. Okay, now I got my paints here again, and as I use my pieces, I'm going to touch up any little areas where they have white showing on them, because I know that's a natural part of die cutting, but it bugs me. So I have to straighten those up. Now, we were looking for some background paper before class started. I remembered we had these. So I thought one of these might be fun background for a wagon. Just got to look and see. Glenn says a baby that big is like pushing a pot roast through your nose. Glenn, you're so funny.
Pretty accurate.
Ooh, I like that little one right there. I think I'm going to keep that one. I actually kind of like this background too. What would that look like if we used it as a background? I think it's a little busy. A little busy with what we got going on. That's hysterical, Glenn. You make me laugh, buddy. Might want those sentiments, so I'll keep that out. This is my seasonal wreath paper pack. Just thought we might find some good stuff for fall in here. There's some bigger sentiments that might be fun. Ooh, this has something kind of almost looks like fall leaves on it. Oh, goodness. There's some really good ones here. Okay, get those out. Let's get rid of this paper pad for a while. I don't need anything else on my desk. You know what, honey, when you have a second, it would be nice to maybe move this cutter out of the way so I have a little extra room. If you would.
With the die cutter?
Yeah. Just give me some room to breathe over here. Get my water brush out here again. That's a well-loved water brush, isn't it? Where are you?
To make room. Well,
Okay,
you
good.
say you were supposed to get it. You asked me to do it.
Okay. Here's these two. Now I got some room. Thank you very much. I feel like I can breathe again. Okay. So, even though I was careful to try and line them up, you just still sometimes have little bits of white around things. And look how pretty and shiny those are, though. Beautiful. So I'm just going to come in with a little bit of color and try and a little bit of color and kind of just cover up any white areas. They're just not as conspicuous. They'll still be there. They just look more blended. I got plenty of water on that brush this time. Wipe a little of that off. This is a terrific die cut set and incredible value to get this for the price of just the stamps. So if you like today's project, I encourage you to pick that up. Let's see. This might be fun. I'm gonna cut out one of these backgrounds. Hi, Sharma. Okay, I'm gonna trim this background down just a little. I like this. I like the idea of using this with a craft card. I just think that'll be fun. So I'm gonna trim this to 5 3/4. I'm just gonna take about 1/8 of an inch off each side though, so. So I'm not taking more than I need. Let's turn it around the right direction. That might be a whole lot easier to measure. still don't have that laying flat. It's not laying flat, it does want to cut straight. So let's fix that. There we go. Been using this Tim Holtz cutter, just trying it out to see if I like it, and I gotta say I'm pretty happy with it. I especially like the measures on it, are very, very easy to read. Unlike my Caterpillar where I had to color them. But that looks nice with the brown around it, doesn't it? I think I'm going to cut off a little bit more. I think I want a little bit more brown showing. Just a little bit. This is the rotary cutter that I'm using right now. Tim Holtz and Tonic. Yeah, that looks good. Well, I like that. I like that a lot. And Annette says she doesn't want to shock Glenn with her delivery story. Glenn says you'd be surprised. Sis, I pulled a cow up to my shoulder. That looks really nice. There isn't a paper pad that matches this one. There must have been at some point in time, but we don't have the paper pad that exactly matches this one anymore. But I'm using the fall or the wreath, the seasonal wreath, and there's lots of nice backgrounds on the seasonal wreath that are going to work great for this. This one I did a little further off than normal, so I'm going to actually cut off a little bit of this white area. Yeah, at some point in time we probably had a paper pack that matched this, but okay. Get a little white out of the spokes. Now, a lot of white in my spokes, that might be a challenging fussy cut, but I'm going to give it a try. Well, that actually worked out okay. Just clipping it up and clipping it sideways, it worked all right to get that out of there. I think that's enough out of there. It's not so dark colored that I feel like I need to get every little bit out of it. I am going to paint a little bit more though. I have some things here that look like they could be covered over. Okay, so I got my wagon. I think we need a couple of our sunflowers back here in the background somewhere. Probably two of those and one of the littler ones. Just kind of lay out where we're going with this. Let's take some of these pumpkins, squash, and other good things and put them in around the wagon. It just looks so much better just touching up that white, guys. So much better. Let this set in front here. This is why I said there is some logic to doing the cutting first and then doing your painting, because you'd automatically be out to these edges. But it's a matter of personal preference which way you want to go. Okay, some sunflowers touched up here. Beauty of this is because I've used several colors in my sunflower. It doesn't really matter what color I use to touch up my white edges. It just kind of matches. Really makes a big difference, though. I just thought this was a pretty set. I think you guys must be talking about those candles you made, Glenn. I've thought about those lots of times. They're really quite beautiful. The stickers, Sharma, were fabulous for that project. Just perfect. So careful when I paint these, and I come in here and just kind of move the paint this way and that way to cover up the white areas. Don't have to be quite as careful. All right. Let's see what we can do here. I need to start putting some of these pieces down so I can see where I'm going. I don't know if I have one of the Countryside Cottage books, Mary. Probably. I might have. I don't think I got that one, though.
not on the shelf.
If it's not on the shelf, then I don't have it. Yes, I do. I might have one downstairs. I just don't have one upstairs. In my stash, my private stash. You know, the little private stash of goodies. It probably does have some good images in it. Oh, I have 5. Okay. I should pick up some of the other books I don't have because I really do enjoy using the backgrounds out of them for all kinds of things. Your mom confiscated your candles, Glenn. I'm not surprised. They're beautiful. Good way to go, Mom. It's funny. Mom confiscated his candles. Should have probably cut some more out of those wheels when I lift that up on some foam squares. Those wheels show more than they did when they were flat. Maybe I just take the foam squares out. Yeah, we still have a lot of paper books left. And for those of you who might be thinking about getting some of the SVG files from Heartfelt Creations, still a really lovely way to get your designs if you don't want to buy the stamps and dies that we still do have. But anyway, the paper books, in my mind, are a lot better than printing those images off on your home printer, which can be very expensive with the ink, and print quality can be different. But you can get the entire books really quite inexpensively when we put them on sale. And I recommend you pick up some of those books to use. Yes, it will, Mary. I have 8 candles on my table, and I can use the remote control. Sometimes I have to alter the remote just a little bit and go a slightly different way with it to get it to catch everything, but the remote works on all of them at once. They're in the same area. I have mine spread out on my big work table in the classroom. So I just point at one direction and turn all my candles on, and then point at the other direction, turn all those candles on. That's not a dumb question at all. It was a heck of a good time to pick up paper pads if you still want some. The other thing that is still selling well is, well, they have the SVG files for the cutting. An SVG file is what you use to cut out on a Cricut or similar machine. So you can do that for your die cutting. The other thing that is still selling, and I had not anticipated, are the molds for the flowers. So that's good to know that you can use your molds with the SVG files. And that's fun. I already colored one of these. Which one was it? This needs more coloring if that's what it was. So it's nice to know we still have our alternatives to get some of those really beautiful Heartfelt Creations images. Where we have the die cut and stamp sets, it's still the best way to go to get the dies and the stamps, because you just can't beat the price of getting the stamps and dies for such a low amount of money. But I think I actually kind of like that. The SVG, we don't have the SVG files at all, Glenn. That's only Heartfelt Creations. Go to the Heartfelt Creations site and you just look by theme in there, and then they'll tell you which ones they have available. The SVG files were never wholesaled. But you can still get them. I was in there yesterday looking to see if they had any card sample ideas for me using this set. They did not. In fact, I looked all over the internet and I couldn't find even one example of where this set had been used. So I guess we're doing something important today, putting this example out there. I'm actually really liking the way it's coming out. Rustic sunflower. Oh, I bet it'd be beautiful, Mary. Yes, it would. Do I have that one too? I don't know. Yeah, but the rustic sunflower would be fabulous with this. I have 3 of the rustic sunflower collections. Mary, you're just too good at this, son. You're out here. I'd have to put you to work. I sure would have to. Oops. What do you think of this one up here, guys? We could do, I know we have the other branch there, and that's okay. We can have more than one kind of branch. Do we want to have a couple of them coming in there? Or do we want to have just one? Or do I want none? I still need a greeting. So while you're doing that, I'm going to look up a greeting here. Pretty birthday blessings here. I'm going to grab that. Have bags will travel. I cut this one out and it's kind of a yellow that doesn't look as good. I'm going to try putting a little green around it. See what happens if we put a little green around this birthday blessings. You guys make me so happy. All of my crafty friends out there. Make me laugh. Make me not take myself too seriously. That's a good thing. I'm not sure I'm going to like this. I might have to cut a darker one. I have plenty of darker ones. I just might have to cut a darker one. Reading. So you guys have any thoughts on those leaves? Yeah, it's better than was, but I'm going to cut a darker one. We have lots of fun together, don't we, Annette? Okay, I just cut that out. It dropped onto my card. Where did it go? Use the brighter set of leaves. I can do that. Let me put a little bit more orange around the outside of these. I just need to cover up those white spaces. Yeah, I think we're going to put those there. You know, you can have two trees growing right together. In fact, we have two trees growing right together everywhere you look outside our house. So you get mixed branches showing. Always. I gave Jordan her birthday early when she needed to buy a new computer for her digital art. And so Dad and I helped her with some finances towards that instead of doing a big birthday. But She still called us when it was birthday time and said, if I come down, will you buy me Yen's Chinese food for dinner? I don't need a big party. I just need Yen's. So we'll be having Yen's for dinner tonight. Some red leaves would be pretty. It would. Yeah, let me put some red in these. I actually think that'd be really pretty, Irene. Let's do that. I'm up for it. I love this kind of rusty red in our paint set. I know a lot of you have this paint set already. Doesn't really, because it's fall leaves, it doesn't really matter where I put the red. I just need to put some into them, but some of them can be almost all red. Others can be golden and yellow, and I like that. I think that looks good. Okay, we're going to put that there. We'll put our tag on it, and we have our first card done. We have lots of little bits here and lots of other background ideas. We'll try another one. Like I said, I just got some more of these paint sets in, so if you haven't gotten yours yet, it's a perfect time to get them. I think what Mary would tell us is in stock right now is 3, but I have 4 more that just came in, so we have plenty of these for everybody to get them. There. Or there. I think I kind of like it in the middle of the action. What do you guys think? Maybe covering one and going under the other. I think I like that. I love that your cat's named Biscuit, Annette. It just makes me happy every time I hear it.
Cat or dog?
It's a cat. There we go. There's our first one. Look how shiny and pretty that is. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Okay, let's do another one. Now, let's see what we want to use here. We brought some. I thought it might be fun to use a piece of craft card and some blue sky to kind of create a horizon line. So let's get a card out here. A little smaller one would be good. That was a big card. If I use this kind of vanilla. Biscuity biscuit. I think Biscuit's a girl, right? Isn't Biscuit a girl cat? I think so. I have some of the sparkly blue cardstock. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover my card in craft because I have to have some ground. And we'll start there, and then I'll tear a piece of blue to be our sky, and we'll see if that's going to work. Great aspirations, we'll see, and spoiled rotten. Uh-oh! You can see what just happened. I just had an avalanche of paper out of my card sorter. I put all the cards up there nicely, and then I grab them and grab them and grab them, and don't ever straighten them back up, and then pretty soon I get avalanches. Biscuit's just such a fun name for a cat. Using the best glue ever on your kitchen things?
It's a holder to keep the spool in place.
Oh, okay. Teddy's just been so full of it. We've been going over to George and Nina's to see Dad, and Teddy has decided that going to George and Nina's and being able to play with Andrea and Michael and George and Nina is just a bit of all right. And we keep one of his toys in the car so that he'll have one. And when we go there, he has to look and make sure his toy's there. And then he spends the entire trip over there. It's not far, but it's like 20, 25 minutes from home. And he spends the entire trip over there standing on his head trying to figure out how to get that toy out of the little box we have under the dash. Which we don't want to listen to that toy all the way over there in the confines of a car. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Okay, so I want, oh, that's actually good too because it's got a solid core in it. I'm going to make a skyline. Yeah. Maybe I'll whack it off instead of doing it that way. And put it up about there. Angelina's a pretty name too. I think I told you at the shelter, Teddy was Teddy. And we looked at him and said, yes, he's well named. Oh, that's Jordan who just came in. Hello, Jordan. You want to say hi to everybody with your hair up in a towel?
I'll say hi to them from across the room.
Oh, okay. Jordan will say hi to you from across the room. She won't go on camera with her hair up in a towel. These kids of mine. So contrary. So contrary. Look at what we just made, Jordan.
I don't have my glasses on.
You can't see that?
I can't see the words. I can see the sunflowers.
Yeah, sunflowers and pumpkins and wagon. And it's really pretty. I like it. I hear my grandpuppy outside.
Yeah.
Jordan left my grandpuppy out. You might as well let her in.
You want to say?
She can come and say hi if she wants to. Okay, let's see what's going to happen. This might not be a good idea at all. We'll find out, guys. But I think it might be a fun idea. Definitely going to have to trim back any white in this one. Gypsy! Hey, Gypsy! Come here. Come here. Come here. Can you open? Hey, come here. Gypsy!
She's like, I'm going to fall down.
Gypsy! Oh, can't show her on camera if she won't come here. You heard Teddy trying to block her. He didn't want her coming back here. Come here. Come on. Gypsy.
Come.
Gypsy. I don't have any dog treats.
Here
she is. Here she is. You see that came, Grandma? I just had to go my own way. Here, come here. Can you say hi to these people? Can you say hi to these people? You can say hi. Hi. Okay. I think that's what we're going to get, guys.
It's not her fault. She doesn't do well on slippery surfaces. All right, Moopy Doo. Let's go to the house. Come on. Come on.
Cutting a little of the white off of this pumpkin. I could have just colored it. I don't know why I'm doing this, but it seemed like the thing to do at the moment. Yeah, kind of like the little pumpkins laying around. Have to color them though. That's bugging me. What do my grand fur babies call me? I think I'm just grandma. Since I don't have any actual grandchildren at this point, Mary, that works here in the office, Mary Dunlap, just had grandchild number 20 yesterday. Number 20. 20 grandkids. She has 6 kids, 3 of her own and 3 adopted. But 20 grandchildren. I said, holy cow, how do you do Christmas and that kind of thing? She said, I make the presents. And she's a very accomplished seamstress. And so she is making everybody house coats and slippers for Christmas. And she says she just gets a production line going. But 20. I said, how do you keep track of birthdays? She said, I got my calendar and I rely on it heavily. And kids' sports games and that kind of thing, they don't all live locally, but a bunch of them do. So she tries to go to their sports games and things like we are known to try. And grandmothers and grandfathers are known to do. This needs a lot of touch-up. Pop these wheels out. It's funny that Teddy was trying to block Gypsy from coming back here because this is his space with his mama. He's so possessive. Gypsy just towers over him, but he's not the least bit afraid of her. He should be. If he was smarter, he would be. But yeah, 2 was my limit, Mary. Of course, the fact I started into this adventure at 38 meant we had to cut things off at a fairly reasonable level. I think I've told you that when I had one in diapers and a 2-year-old running around, I realized why people did this when they were much, much younger than me. Way younger than me. I was teasing Mary a while back. I may have told her this story. If I did, you can forgive me. I was teasing Mary a while back and saying, or actually Margie, was talking to Margie about Mary and said, Mary has her 20th grandchild coming up. I have no grandchildren. Mary has 20. Mary's bogarting all the grandchildren. Mary laughed when she heard it. I'm glad. Thank you, Mary R. Did I tell you guys I heard from Roberta? I think I told you on Wednesday, but some of you might not have been here. I did hear from Roberta. She said she's been facing some health challenges, but she's doing pretty well. She did say that due to those health challenges, she'd lost, I think she said 70 pounds. So she was teasing me and saying, I'm beating you on your weight loss. I said, well, congratulations on the weight loss, I think. Because I'm not sure that's quite the way to do it. But if it makes you healthier and happier, then great. And I did tell her we miss her and we want to see her on the stream. Don't know how much good that will do, but it's kind of whimsical because it's such a dramatic difference between the sky and the earth here, but that's okay. It'll be fun. We're just playing, right? When we found out we were going to have Jordan, my parents were sunbirding down in Arizona, and we didn't have a way to reach them, but they'd call in every once in a while.
It's called snowbirding.
Snowbirding, yeah, snowbirding. And Mom called one day, and I said, oh, I'm glad you called. I got some news to share with you. You're going to be a grandmother. And she thought, she was waiting for the punchline. The fish is going to have babies, or the dog or cat's going to have kittens. She just did not expect to hear she was going to be a grandmother again after so many years of not having grandkids. And I was 38. And she said, you and Bryce? I turned to Bryce and said, Bryce, Mom wants to know if I think it's yours. Yeah, Mom, we're pretty sure. She called later and said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. But he just caught me so off guard. Yeah, I know. I never let her live it down, though. It was pretty funny. Yeah, Mom, I'm pretty sure it's Bryce. Pretty sure it's his. Yeah. Could be the mailman. But we're pretty sure. I have not sent the Christmas card list out yet, Mary, but I promise you I will get it done before I go to the hospital this week. I promise you. If anybody, in the meantime, I do have all your updates. And if anybody else wants to send an update, you don't need to resend your updates. I have them all. I have the texted ones that people gave me on the broadcast and Bryce texted me with, and I have all the emailed ones. So you don't need to send an update if you've already sent one. But if you haven't sent an update, just tell me everything's the same or that you have a change, and we'll make any changes that need to be made, okay? So if you haven't yet sent your email, send me an email. Just confirm you still want to be on. If you're new to the email list, tell me if you want to add your phone number or your email put on the list. You will not get solicitations as a result of being on the list. We've been at this for several years now, and everybody has played very fairly. And I appreciate that so much. So I can tell you with confidence that you will not get spam as a result of going on our Christmas card list. Everybody's been great about that. Let's see. What else do we on here? I like that up there too. And maybe we'll put our greeting down here this time. When you send your new Christmas card mailing list, if anybody doesn't have a printer, they can email me and I'll print it and mail it back to them. Thank you so much, Mary. That's kind of you. That's funny, Annette. Kind of like the looks of the layering here. Putting some of these up on foam squares and some not. Like that. And this would have been a good place for that lighter one, although I'm not sure my paint job on it was the best. Maybe paint a little bit more on it. See if I can bring it back. Ooh. Oh, I got a lot of water on there. You are such a thoughtful citizen of our community, Mary. I love the way you always think of these things and help people out. I think that's okay. Let's see. I wondered if I was just getting all carried away with the number of pieces I cut here, but we don't have that many left at this point. So I guess not too carried away. Yeah. Still like that coming in from that side and top. I don't know what attracts me to it, but I like it. That is a truth, Mary R. Family looks after each other. That is a truth for sure, my friend. Okay. I never would have imagined that it would be the leaves I would use all of first. I think I'm going to do is cut this set of leaves up and sprinkle them around on the ground. I think that'll look good. Everything's just kind of too well positioned here. So I think we need to add a little chaos, don't you? I think we should add a little chaos to this. I'm going to clip some leaves off of here. Just let them fall around on the ground.
Our trees' leaves are starting to turn colors,
We're getting that fall look about them, huh?
mainly yellow.
Mm. It's more paint. More paint. I finished my taxes, guys. Finally. I still have to put a final review into it and make sure everything says what I think it says. Tends to be a great idea if you've been working on it in the middle of the night. Bryce to sign it, sign his life away. And you'll be proud to know that I got my business books up to August of 2024. So next year should be, oh, now that looks really good. I think I need like one more to have an odd number of leaves, but I think that looks really good. Maybe one falling here. So yay me. Spring's my favorite season. I love seeing everything come back out of the winter doldrums. But fall is beautiful too. Summer, not my favorite season because it gets hot and I don't like hot. Winter, love the snow. And as long as I don't have to, my family doesn't have to be out in it, I'm perfectly happy sitting in and looking out at the snow. I told you guys I was going to go and buy myself a, what's the name of that cake again? Papalova cake. When I finish my taxes. Now I'm trying to decide if it's really worth eating food that's out of my plan, but I still might have to do it because Papalova cake's really good, and I did promise myself. So you can't go back on your word, even if it's to yourself.
Better get it ordered.
This is a much more whimsical one, but I like it. Isn't that kind of fun? I like having a definite skyline there. So let's see what we look like. I'll just go with our 2 because I've used most of the things we've cut out. Yeah, me too, Mary. I like the creating. I don't like the business side so much anymore, which is funny because there was a time I loved the business side the most, but not anymore. I've gotten over it. Which one do you like? We have blue sky or we have scenic background? Blue sky or scenic? I'm going to be looking for answers to that one. You can find, let me see what this is called again. In fact, maybe Bryce can link it for us. Those. It's called, well, that was nice.
You're supposed to catch.
Yeah. And you've known me how long and I'm supposed to catch it? Okay, these come from Countryside Autumn Scapes. Countryside Autumn Scapes. You buy the stamp set and the die. You get the die, the $30 set for free. And the entire kit is going to cost you just $19.95, I think. Oh, no, that's just the stamps, honey. We need the bundle. If you want just the stamps, it's $10. You have to fussy cut it. We need Countryside Autumn Scapes. Excuse me. Bundle, Countryside Autumn Scapes at the top there. That's it. There it is. $19.99. Value $49.98. But these are our 2 choices. So I want you to vote on our dialogue page, if you would, please. Sealed closed. So, what was I going to say? Oh, if you enjoyed today, hit that like button, if you would, please. It makes me feel good, and it lets YouTube know that violence in the workplace, Mary said. It lets YouTube know that this is a channel that they should recommend. And if you're not a subscriber to our channel yet, hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss anything we're up to. We have fun stuff happening all the time, and you can tell this group of people is a hoot. So lots of fun there. And when we sign off, I'm going to ask you to hit that refresh button and tell me which of these 2 cards do you like the best. This one's the one I'm going to call Blue Sky, and this one's Scenic. We used a background to this one. So Blue Sky or Scenic, what's your favorite? I will look forward to reading your comments. I'm a little behind in answering them, but I will answer all of them eventually. And I read every single one of them. So yeah, that craft card really brings out these autumn scenes, doesn't it, Irene? Absolutely. Okay, so I will be back on Wednesday for What's New Wednesday, and then I will be turning the reins over to Margie from there, and hopefully it will be a short recovery and I will be back, but thank you, Annette. I love you too. Okay, so I think that's it for now. I will see you Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 p.m. Eastern time for What's New Wednesday, and our new feature of the week. Our magazines are going crazy, by the way, and that special is still available until they sell out or we run out of the week. That special in the magazines is still good, so think about picking up some of those if you want to. And for now, I'm just going to say good night, Gracie.